Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad ARIF HAKIMI bin RAMLEE, and today I will present with you about the project rising demand of the electricity in Malaysia. So, project background. The main factor of rising energy demand are population and incoming growth. Malaysia demand of electricity has always grown in the lockstep with the country's GDP growth. Strong demand from the residential and industrial sector has fueled the expansion. In the 2012, gross energy output was 122.12 terawatt, with gas accounting for the 52.7% of the total generation fuel mix, with the coal accounting for the 38.9%, for hydro 7.3%, for the oil 1%, and the other accounting for the 0.2%. So the project aim is discuss the energy outlook in Malaysia, specifically the electricity output and the largest consumer of electricity. So the objective, as you can see, to investigate the using of electricity for the different sector. And then for second, identify the rates of demand and generation capacity for the electricity over the year, over the 20 years. And third, to observe the annual day and electricity production and the consumption. And then fourth, to interpret the trend of increasing and the production and in the production and consumption of electricity.
Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. My name is NADIY bin AZHARUL. I will present about data description. So from our research data, we have determined 5 quantitative variables, which are generation capacity and also peak demand, which is in megawatt, the increase in production over previous year, which is in percentage, and also the production and consumption of 4 different sectors in gigawatt per hour. We have also determined that all of the 5 quantitative variables are a continuous quantitative variables. All the data from the generation capacity related closely to the rise of demand. We use graphical and numerical presentation such as 2D column chart, 3D pie chart, and 2D line chart to identify the data. All of the data we collected is from the Ministry of Energy.
For the method and analyze for the objective one, for the graph bar chart, total to show the total electricity for the different sector. The data collected from the 2009 until 2019 by the four sector. The higher consumption, as you can see in the blue color, which is residential, and the lower is others. For the residential, the higher consumption in 2016, as you can see, 2016 is among the 1,385.72 gigawatt, and the value of lower for the residential, which is 1,181 for 43.43 gigawatt in the year 2010. For the data, we also can define the mode, median, mean, and standard deviation. So the pie that show the total consumption by the sector. First, the bigger percent, which is residential, get the 36%, and second, commercial get the 26%, and third, government get the 21%, and last, the others get to 70%. So the data show the higher, so this could be due to the fact that the increasing development of residential in Malaysia every year. Okay, second objective, for the rise of demand and generation capacity. Okay, the higher peak demand in 2019 is 691.29 megawatt, while the higher generation capacity is 912.7 megawatt in the 2019, same year. According next, in the 2000, the lower amount of peak demand was 298.5 megawatt, and the lower amount of generation capacity was 705.1 megawatt. We deduce from the line chart that the peak demand trend is on the rise and will continue the rise in the coming years. In terms of generation capacity, we can see the line is downtrend, down and decrease until 2008, sorry, and then it's uptrend and growing until 2090. We assume that the generation capacity has a higher electrical power than the peak demand in the overall line table. That's all about my presentation.
Next, I would like to continue for method and analysis. To the left, we can see the bar chart shows the production of electricity from the year 2000 to 2019, which is in blue, and the consumption of electricity from the year 2000 to 2019, which is in orange. So from the data given, we can observe that year 2019 has the highest production and consumption of electricity, with the value recorded as 4,449.48 gigawatt per hour and 3,828.49 gigawatt per hour respectively. While on the other hand, the year 2000 had the lowest value recorded with 2,516.8 gigawatt per hour of electricity produced and 2,193.8 gigawatt per hour of electricity consumed. Next up, I would like to present about the percentage increase in production and consumption of electricity over previous year. The line chart shows the percentage increase in production, which is in blue, and consumption of electricity over previous year. Overall, production of electricity has remained reasonably steady from the year 2000 to 2010, and 2012 to 2016, and also 2018 to 2019. On the other hand, consumption of electricity has remained stable from the year 2000 to 2004, 2006 to 2012, 2014 to 2015, and 2018 to 2019. There is a two key significant area that we would like to highlight. The first one is from the year 2000 to 2003, the consumption of electricity rose steadily and then dramatically soared to 15.26% on 2004, and it plunged down in 2005 to negative 0.10%. The same thing happened to production during the year 2005 to 2007. Next, before that, I would like to show you from the graph. You can see that on the year 2003, it rises suddenly to 15.26%, and then it plunges down to negative 0.10%. And the same thing happens to the production, which happens in the year 2005 to 2007. It rises suddenly and then it drops down quickly. Okay, so next is the year 2014 for consumption. After the sudden rise on 2013, and then there is a sudden drop in consumption until 2017, and it steadily increased until 2019. Inversely, we can also observe that the production of electricity had a small downward trend during 2013 to 2017 and steadily rise on 2018 to 2019. We can safely conclude that the trend of production of electricity followed the trend of consumption closely. This shows that production of electricity correlates to consumption of electricity. So, as a conclusion, we can conclude that based on the data that we received from the Ministry of Energy, the residential consume the most electricity. This could be explained due to the fact that of the booming rise of housing development over the last 2 decades. We can also observe that the generation capacity correlates to the peak demand of electricity. This shows that the generation capacity have to be increased in order to satisfy the growing demand, which also explain the almost perfect coverage of electric supply here in Malaysia. All of these are proven by making a graphical presentation such as bar chart, pie chart, and also line chart. Since Malaysia rely mainly on non-renewable sources, we have to think of a better alternative renewable energy such as solar, and making a plan such as the 11 Malaysia plan, which is from the 2016 to 2020, which focuses on renewable energy, which is much more cleaner and not limited. That's all from us. Thank you.